You're listening to On Air with Jezza, and I'm Jeremy Spake. Great to have you back with us again, and it's been a busy week here at Jezza HQ. Lots going on. We've been doing some filming. I've been continuing to write pages for my new book, and I've spent some really wonderful time with a couple of my charities, long overdue. Always nice to catch up with the guys at both the charities, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. I also spent an afternoon with the wonderful women of the Women's Institute in Huntingdon and Peterborough. We had a fun afternoon, but I'll tell you more about that a little later on. At the moment, of course, one can only hope that you're sat down, relaxed and looking forward to today's show, and that you're not being battered by Storm Kathleen. If you are, then you have my sympathies. Fortunately, here in East Anglia, we seem unscathed at the moment, which is a godsend, because it means that the beautiful head of hair that I've got, don't mention I'm bald, please. The beautiful head of hair I've got is intact and not being blown around. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Because I get more like Victor Meldrew every day, I'm going to be hopping up on top of my soapbox to have a little rant about something that's driving me insane. We'll also take a look at the news from around the world that's caught my attention, as well as the things I've been watching. You might like to check them out yourselves. Plus, of course, loads of really great sounds. And we're going to start with Survivor and Eye of the Tiger.
To
What a cracking sound to get us started. Yes, Eye of the Tiger, which first penetrated our eardrums in May of 1982. Where were you in 1982? I was at school, and if I'm completely honest, it wasn't an experience I enjoyed very much. I think it was probably because they were fairly into their discipline at the school I went to. Do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. I struggle with that. I much prefer it when people say to me, is there any chance? Be so kind. Do you fancy? Would you like to? They're the sort of phrases that will get me doing almost anything for you. The idea of having an order barked at me is a surefire way of getting me to stop, sit down and basically do nothing in protest. Are you like me, or are you somebody who can just take an order on the chin and get on with it? Because if you are, I take my hat off to you. Now, Eye of the Tiger was, of course, the theme tune to a very famous film from a famous film franchise. But which film was it? And who was in it? I can hear you all shouting at me, well, it was Sylvester Stallone, I know. But which of the Rocky franchises was it? Yes, indeedy, Rocky 3. And in fairness, I've not seen any of the Rocky movies, so I've got no idea about what the films are like, whether they're any good, should they be watched. If I've not seen them, I can hear you telling me, yeah, you should watch it, you should watch it. Perhaps I will. Perhaps I'll watch one and then give you a critique. Or maybe you should encourage me to watch one by letting me know what you think about the film and whether or not it's worth a gander. And if you're going to do that, it's easy. Just send me an email, shows@jeremyspake.com. And if I get enough comments and encouragement, then I might just watch one. Now, the theme tune was, of course, sung by Survivor, and this week has felt very much like we're having to just try and survive, doesn't it? It's been an odd week, and the news, of course, has been filled with lots of tragic events and doom and gloom. And I don't want the show to be constantly about doom and gloom and tragic events, but you can't help but talk about them when it's happening around the world. And of course, the people of Taiwan were subjected to an earthquake earlier in the week, and to see those buildings standing on one side and then being pulled down for safety reasons is sad in itself. And of course, there was news overnight that New York had experienced an unusual earthquake, and that the Empire State Building had shook a little bit. But more importantly, of course, the news has been completely filled this week with the tragedy that took place in Gaza earlier in the week, when 7 aid workers who were working for the World Central Kitchen, an aid organisation who bring food to war-torn locations, found themselves sadly dying at the hands of the Israeli Defence Force, the IDF, who still haven't really explained what went on. The tragedy for me was the fact that 7 aid workers who were literally doing the very best they could to help the innocent people caught up in this terrible conflict to get food, because they are starving to death in Gaza at the moment, had literally told the IDF the route that they would be taking, who from the aid organisation was in the vehicles, what was in the vehicles, and more importantly, the vehicles themselves. Did you see any of the images on the news? They had the WCK logo emblazoned all over them, and the ones that were on the roof were huge. So how anybody could not have known who they were, where they were going, especially when they've told the authorities exactly who they are and where they're going, is pretty shameful. But what's also shameful about this is that it's taken the tragic death of these 7 international aid workers, and my heart goes out to the friends and the families of the victims, because dealing with the tragedy of losing a loved one is tough, but losing a loved one in this situation is utterly horrendous, because these people have gone there to help, to do the very best by the people who are being affected by this conflict, and to die trying to do that when they didn't need to is just truly tragic. But what surprises me in all of this is that up until now, several hundred aid workers have lost their lives trying to help in the last 6 months in Gaza as the result of the conflict that started between Hamas and Israel, of course, because Hamas decided to storm into Israel and take hostage a number of Israeli nationals. And I'm not entirely sure that the response from the Israeli state has been proportionate, but it's taken the deaths of these 7 people to see global condemnation and outrage, particularly from the countries who have lost nationals as a result of this particular incident. And, you know, it strikes me as being somewhat odd that the aging president of America, Joe Biden, you know, can have as many phone calls with Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel as he chooses, but we're not seeing the required steps being taken by either side in the conflict to bring about a ceasefire, which ultimately is going to be the only way they can then sit around the table and start discussing the things that are, of course, needed to be discussed to find resolution, if indeed resolution can be found. And I'm no international diplomat, so I'm not entirely sure how you go about it, but there must be a solution in all of that. Is it time now, though, for us to start thinking about imposing sanctions on Israel? Because whilst I accept that their entering Gaza were for different reasons than the ones that Vladimir Putin sent troops into the Ukraine for, the outcome has been the same. Innocent people losing their lives when we should, in 2024, be able to get on with it without losing anybody in conflict, because we should be able to discuss a way out of it. But Russia has been subject to significant sanctions from around the world that have disrupted transport, disrupted communications and trade. And is it now time for us to be doing the same thing to Israel? Or is it that that's too big a step for the US, Britain and other nations who are closely aligned to Israel to take? Is it fair on the people of Israel to subject them to that? It's just such a tough thing, isn't it? I don't know the answers, and I can't condone any form of violence towards anybody, and it doesn't matter whether you're Israeli, Palestinian, you know, in the Hamas organization, whether you're Russian, you're Ukrainian or Yemeni or Somali or anything. It just doesn't equate in my head. So I'm not being biased here one way or the other. So people, if they think I am, you're very much mistaken, because anybody who listens to me regularly will know that I just struggle with the business of people inflicting unnecessary pain and torture on another human being. It's just utterly unfathomable for me. Truly just makes no sense. And in other news, just to lighten the mood, the Royal Mail, what are they up to? Did you see earlier this week they put in a proposal, and I should stress it is only a proposal at this moment in time, to change the way they deliver second-class mail. So they've now said that they'll deliver second-class post every other day during the week. So the Monday to Friday thing, or the Monday to Saturday if it's first-class post. So they're suggesting now that we'll either get 2 or 3 deliveries a week of second-class mail. I've got a bit of a shock for you, Royal Mail. Indeed, I've had second-class post arrive at me that has spent months in the postal system. So I do find the suggestion that we should go down to every other day for second class post somewhat amusing. But is it a sign of the times? We're just not sending enough post. I try to make it my mission every week to send at least 2 or 3 letters, both first and second class, to make sure that there's still stuff going into the system, because I'm a great believer that we should try our best to keep the Royal Mail and what it does, because it's really essential that we're able to communicate in writing, not just by email. It's a skill, being able to write letters and send them, and we should be doing our very best to make that happen. Do you not agree? I think so. What about airports? They've been in the news this week. 100 millilitres. How many of us have gone through airports and kind of struggled to get our liquids and gels into one of those little freezer bags that are see-through, that you can put nothing more than 100 millilitres into each container, and you're only allowed so many of those in the bag. The rules, of course, are in the process of being changed, because technology has now surpassed the existing technology around the UK's airports, and there's now a way of being able to leave all of your liquids in the hand luggage, and when it gets screened at X-ray, the machine does the work of detecting whether or not you've got excessive amounts or there's things in there that you shouldn't have. So in theory, you should no longer have to take your liquids in their see-through bag out of your hand luggage and lay them separately in a tray. However, whilst the technology has changed and the rules have been implemented across Europe, the requirement to achieve success was that airports would have all of the new equipment installed by June of 2024. Now, for some regional airports in the UK, the likes of Newcastle, Birmingham, London City, which I would say is not really a regional airport because it's in the capital, but in terms of the numbers of security lanes, it's fairly small. They've all managed to install the equipment, and so customers who are travelling through those airports are able to do so without relinquishing the 100 millilitre bags into a separate tray. They can just leave them in their hand luggage. It goes through the X-ray, and the X-ray does all the work. Sadly, Heathrow, Manchester and Gatwick, and let's be honest, the three airports collectively have more security lanes than the rest of the airports probably put together. They've struggled to get all of the equipment in place and are struggling to meet the deadline of June 2024. So the UK Civil Aviation Authority has kindly given them an extension. They're being allowed up to a year. But what does this mean? So this means that if you are travelling through those airports, sometimes you'll be able to leave your liquids in the bag because they've got machines there that are working and they've been trialling them. And other times you're going to have to take them out. So there's a simple way of getting over this, because if you're somebody, for example, who travels from, say, Newcastle one day and you don't have an issue, or from Teesside or somewhere like Birmingham, and you haven't had to take your liquids out, and then the next day you find yourself at Manchester, Gatwick or Heathrow, and you become confused as to why you've now got to take your liquids out. The secret in success is just to be prepared to remove your liquids anywhere in the UK, because you can just see it now, can't you? You're standing in Manchester, you're being asked to take the stuff out of the bag, and 2 days earlier you travelled out of Birmingham and didn't, and you can just see the poor security staff in Manchester rolling their eyes going, oh, here we go again, as you tell them, well, hang on a minute, I never had to do that in Birmingham. So I would suggest that for the next 12 months, we are all accepting that there are going to be variations up and down the country. So best be prepared, have everything in the little see-through bag, 100 millilitres, no more, and be prepared to take it out and pop it in the tray. That's the moral of the story there, really. And the final bit of news that caught my eye, and I quite liked it because it was one of those things that kind of, warms the cockles of your heart. Newmarket, which of course is famous for horse racing, and indeed is the home to the National Horse Racing Stud and the Museum for Horse Racing. Fantastic town. If you've never been there and you've never visited the museum, it's well worth a visit. Newmarket's a nice little market town there in Suffolk. They've been without a cinema for 50 years, and they've been having to go to places like Cambridge and Haverhill to watch films. Well, the wait's no longer necessary. They don't have to go across country to see a film, because earlier this week they opened a new cinema, which is the first cinema there in the town for over 50 years. And in fact, the very first film they showed this week was Wonka, followed by June. So they're playing the blockbusters. It might be a small cinema, but what a great story. I do hope you're enjoying your films.
Undo the life force and there goes her friend. On her nashiki, it's out of time, and through the porthole they can make amends. Hey, would you say whatever will blanket friends? Can't stop what's coming, can't stop what is on its way. And through the walls they made their mud pie. I've got your mind, I said, she said, I've your voice. I said, you don't need my voice, girl, you have your own. But you never thought it was enough of. So they went years and like sisters, blanket girls, always there through that and this. There's nothing we cannot ever fix, I said. Can't stop what's coming, can't stop what is on its way. Hey, can't stop what's coming, can't stop what is on its way. Bells and footfalls and soldiers and dolls, brothers and lovers, she and I were. Now she seems to be sand under his shoes. There's nothing I can do. Can't stop what's coming, can't stop what is on its way. Can't stop what's coming, can't stop what is on its way. And now I speak to you, are you in there? You have a face and her eyes, but you are not her. And we go at each other like blankets who can find their thread and their pair. Can't stop loving you. Can't stop loving, can't stop what it's on its way. And I see it coming, and it's on its.
Bells for Her from the album Under the Pink by the truly talented Tori Amos. That was especially for Barry Harwood, who got in touch with me earlier this week by email to request that particular track, telling me how much it meant to him and how much of a fan of Tori Amos he is. Well, very happy to have played that for you, Barry, because I'm a Tori Amos fan, so always happy to listen to music by the gorgeous Tori Amos. Hopefully that's brought a whole load of very happy memories flooding back for you. Now, if, like Barry, you'd like me to play your favourite track, regardless of who the artist is, or you'd like something played for a loved one or a friend, it's really easy. All you need to do is to send me an email to shows@jeremyspake.com. Tell me what you'd like played, why you'd like it played, and who it's for. And it's okay to be for you. It's a little bit of self-indulgence is absolutely fine, so I'm told, and I will do the rest. I'll do my very best to include it in a future show. Now, if sending emails is not your thing and you would prefer to fill in a very handy form, you'll find one of those on the contacts page of my website, jeremyspake.com. Fill in the form, hit the old submit key, and we will do the rest. The team and I will go looking for the music and pop it into a future show. In fact, I'm quite intrigued to know what you'd like us to be playing. I've got a very eclectic taste in music, and it's always nice to hear what people really enjoy listening to. So don't be shy, get in touch and make those requests, because it will be our pleasure to play them, and then you'll be in control of the music that you listen to. It's always difficult to choose music that offers something for everybody. Trust me, I sit here with the team trying to come up with the best tracks. So sometimes we get it right and sometimes we don't. But always happy to hear what you think. So you can send your feedback to us using the same email address, or indeed the very same handy form on the website there. You know where you're going, the .coms and all the rest of it. So we look forward to hearing from you. Now, what have you been watching this week? Have you had time to watch anything? I haven't had a great deal of time, to be honest. I've been quite busy rushing around doing various bits and bobs, but I did manage to steal 2 hours for myself, and so I decided to watch on Netflix the film with Bill Nighy called The Beautiful Game. Now, anybody that knows me will know I'm not a massive football fan. I'm not somebody who gets all in a stupor watching his favourite team on a Saturday struggling to score goals. It really doesn't float my boat or hit my buttons in any way, shape or form. I'll watch it if it's on, but I'm not driven to it. It's not something that compels me every week to follow. But this particular film, albeit that it's about football, it tells a very different side to football that I particularly like. It's the story of homeless people coming together to participate in the World Homeless Football Cup. What a fantastic concept. Now, this is true. They actually do this. And the film tells the story of a group of homeless English folk coming together under the tutelage and guidance of Bill Nighy to participate in the Football Cup, which is hosted in Rome. Now, it's absolutely brilliant. It's a heartwarming story that has you kind of hooked from the very beginning, in my personal and humble opinion. And I kind of found myself getting more and more engrossed as the film went on, not just with the plight of the people that were wanting to play football and the difficulties they were having from a social and a personal point of view, but also just from the human side of it, to see that actually, you know, something as simple as a game of football can transcend barriers without the need for people to be aggressive and violent towards one another. Brilliant film, well acted by everybody in it. I'm a particular fan of Bill Nighy. I like his quintessential Englishness. He's got a smooth, charismatic style, and he's just a pleasure to watch. I also really enjoyed the performance by Susan Wokoma, who is playing the South African team coach. Her character is a nun, and she has some absolutely cracking lines in the film, and her put downs of people and the way she manages to get what she wants, all in the name of her God, is just brilliant. Really recommend watching the film. If you've got a couple of hours to spare, you'll find it there on Netflix, The Beautiful Game. I haven't had a lot of time for anything else, I'm afraid, so I'll talk more about what I've been watching, if time permits, in the next show. In the meantime, do let me know if you watched the Beautiful Game and what you thought of it. Cracking film.
Put on your red shoes.
taking us all the way back to March 1983, Bowie's biggest ever single, Let's Dance. What a talent Bowie was. It's sad that he's no longer with us. I mean, some would say he was a force de jour in music, without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm sure there are many fans and people in the profession who miss hearing and seeing the wonder of Bowie himself. Now, talking about force de jour, yes, I had the very great pleasure and honour to spend time with the Women's Institute earlier in the week. To be more precise, the federations of Huntingdon and Peterborough there in Cambridgeshire. And what a fantastic reception they gave me. They were very, very welcoming. And in my humble opinion, probably would make extremely good hoteliers. The welcome and the hospitality was second to none, which is always guaranteed with the Women's Institute. Whenever I mention to people who don't know a lot about the WI, they always say to me, oh, is that not all jam and Jerusalem? And I have a little chuckle to myself, because you probably will see a pot of jam knocking around somewhere, and you'll certainly sing the anthem Jerusalem, because it's their song. It epitomises everything about them, and of course hails back to the days of the suffragettes, which is more or less where the Women's Institute started its life. But there's so much more than just jam and Jerusalem. You know, they're a bit like my good self. Everybody says, oh, you're the bloke from Airport, and I say to them, well, I'm a little bit more than the chap from Airport, but I'll take that as a starter for 10. And I think that the WI do the same with jam and Jerusalem. We had a cracking afternoon. I was talking to them about life in general, the things that have happened to me over the past sort of 40 years in aviation and 30 years in broadcasting and presenting, and we got onto the subject of toughest jobs in Britain, a series that I did for the BBC back in the noughties. And one of the jobs I was asked to do was sewer flusher in London. Oh, what a job. It's not something you want to do ordinarily. You definitely need a very strong constitution. So having a weak stomach and not liking odours, not an easy job for you to do. But obviously when you talk about things like that, it brings a sort of a titter to the people who you're talking to as you regale your story of going down into London sewers. But we were absolutely in stitches, the ladies and I, when we were talking about the time I went down the storm drain located at on the embankment next to Charing Cross Station. Next to it is a statue of Thomas Crapper, which to me seems very apt, because Thomas Crapper was the man who invented the S-bend of the toilet. He didn't invent the toilet itself, just the S-bend, and that's probably why we call the toilet the crapper in some quarters. You know, people call the toilet all sorts of things, but crapper is one of those adjectives used, and that comes from the man himself. So, but the stories, you can imagine, had sort of crap involved in them, really, and we did have a little chuckle as I regaled them with those stories. But we got onto the business of sustainability. Because I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet at the moment. I'm working on a project that has me talking to all manner of people about how we make the nation great again. And one of the things that I've been talking to farmers about is, should we get back into the business of seasonality with vegetables and with fruit? I think it's not a bad idea, you know. I'm not bothered if I can only have strawberries in June, July and August. I used to go picking them. I'm sure you did if you were old enough to remember. Pick your own. You go into the fields, pick 6 punnets, eat 5 punnets, and then only hand in 1 punnet to pay for, and walk out feeling like you've overdosed on soft fruits. But can we not go back to that? Can we not have a kind of a period of time where we start literally relying on our own ability to grow and produce food? Because does that not bring food security? I don't know. Perhaps you could tell me. Perhaps you've got a better idea. But I'm not worried if I can only have strawberries 3 months of the year. I also don't mind if I can only get certain vegetables when they're in season. You know, who wants to be eating stew right now? It's a winter food. So swede, turnip, leeks and all that sort of stuff, that should be around in the winter, should it not? Or am I wrong? One of the chaps that was there also talking to the WI was a chap called Ben Cross, who runs Crosslands Flower Nursery near Chichester. What a fantastic bloke he is. He's full of energy, and he's on a one-man mission to educate people and to get people engaging with the idea of buying British. And he wears a shirt that has on it, British Flowers Rock. And that just about sums up what his mission is. He's trying to get people to buy British flowers, and he grows plenty of them. And in fairness, the ladies at the WI there in Cambridgeshire were frantically buying up the blooms that he'd taken with him. A lot of flowers have flown in from overseas. They've been frozen for a while. They've had treatment on them to make them last and all the rest of it. So he was ticking a lot of boxes for me and my sustainability. So hopefully I'll be able to catch up with Ben in the not too distant future to talk more about how we get more people buying British flowers. But what a cracking day that was.
We were a long way from home, haven't seen you in so long, but it all came back in one moment. And the year started cold, but I didn't notice it all. And we found there's a room we're both in. We get Chinese food in small white boxes, live the life we saw in Friends. Your room, it barely fits the mattress. Wake up, leave for work again. The wind, it seems to blow right through us. Down jackets are the trend, the rushing deep into love. English girl in an American town, no elevator to the 5th floor. I'll ring on the buzzer, then you'll be right down. I wish time would freeze. Dungarees over the hoodie, we're out. Feet are 3 feet off the ground. Lost in love and we don't wanna be found. It's just you and me, my English girl in an American town. In an American town. Days come and go, but it ends when doors close, and the scent of your perfume's on me. You're useless with your phone, electric when one-on-one. I thought I would be more nervous, darling. We watch comedies and miss the endings, conversations till the dawn. Any change in tide, we push against it. Challenge meanings in the songs and head out without a reservation. Drinking out of paper bags and wasting time is time not wasted. With my English girl in an American town, no elevator to the 5th floor. I'll ring on the buzzer, then you'll be right down. I wish time would freeze. Dungarees over the hoodie, we're out. Feet are 3 feet off the ground. Lost in love and we don't wanna be found. It's just you and me, my English girl in an American town. And when our eyes are closed together, I can't explain how the scent of your perfume takes me to a higher place. It unfold, we can change how it tastes and rebuild when it breaks down. We drink Moscow mules and steal the cups from mostly the Bowery Bar. What a perfect day to fall in love on. What a way to make a start. It appears when you think all is lost, then you don't remember when it started. Never have to pretend. With my English girl in an American town, no elevator to the 5th floor. I'll ring on the buzzer, then you'll be right down. I wish time would freeze. Dungarees over the hoodie, we're out. Feet are 3 feet off the ground. Lost in love and we don't wanna be found. It's just you and me, English girl in an American town. No elevator to the 5th floor. I'll ring on the buzzer, then you'll be right down. I wish time would freeze. Dungarees over the hoodie, we're out. Feet are 3 feet off the ground. Lost in love and we don't wanna be found. It's just you and me, my English girl in an American town.
Praying won't do it, hating won't do it, drinking won't do it, fighting won't knock you out of my head. Hiding won't hide it, smiling won't hide it, like I ain't tried it. Everyone's tried it now and failed somehow. So when you gonna let me, when you gonna let me out, out? And if you know, how do you get up from an all-time low? I'm in pieces, it seems like pieces. The only thing I'll never know, how do you get out, get out? 'Cause driving won't do it, flying won't do it, denying won't do it, crying won't drown it out. find a place to start? How do I choose between my head and heart? Till it ceases, I never know. How do you get up from an all-time low? Low, 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 low. Can you hear me? Low, 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 low. Can't you hear me? Low, 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 low. Can you hear me? Low, 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 low. And if you know, how do you get up from an all-time low? I'm in pieces, it seems like pieces. The only thing I never know. How do you get up from an all-time low? I can't even find a place to start. How do I choose between my head and heart? Till it ceases, I never know. How do you get up from an all-time low? I can't even find a place to start. How do I choose between my head and heart? Till it ceases, I'll never know. How do you get up from an all-time low?
Two fab tracks there, back to back. Ed Sheeran with American Town, especially for Irina Nikolskaya. Thanks for getting in touch, Irina. I hope you enjoyed that particular track. Followed by The Wanted with All Time Low. Now, this is the part of the show where I feel like I'm on the verge of an all-time low as I hop onto my soapbox about something that is driving me slightly doolally this week. And that's the size of things. Are you like me thinking that we're being diddled when it comes to the size of certain items that we buy on a regular basis? Well, I was looking through my wardrobe the other day. I'm a bit of a hoarder of clothing because I work on the premise that something that's in fashion 10 years ago is likely to come bouncing back into fashion at some point, or one can only hope. And I tried on a pair of trousers that I bought literally 10 years ago, and they fitted me like a glove. They were wonderful, ever so comfortable. And I looked at the size and I thought, oh, okay, so I haven't actually gotten any bigger, so that's interesting. And so I thought, right, I'll go and buy myself some new trousers just to shake it up a bit. And off I went, bought my new trousers, got them home, tried them on. They were the same size, bear in mind, as the pair that I'd tried on that were 10 years old. And what a shock I got. What a mistake of a maker, as they say, to buy something today that was the same size of something that you bought 10 years ago. Ergo, my excitement and my disdain, and why I'm standing on my soapbox, because this pair of trousers that I bought the other day is nowhere near the same size as the pair that I had from 10 years ago that have the label that suggests otherwise. What is that about clothing manufacturers? Am I the only one that's discovering this? Or are other people noticing that when they're buying clothes that was the size that they were used to buying years ago, suddenly they no longer fit because they're skimping on the material? My friends that I was chatting to about this the other day said to me, oh, it's because, you know, the clothes are manufactured in the Far East and in the Indian subcontinent, and people are generally smaller there. And therefore, you should just accept that the patterns they're using are smaller. And I said, what a load of old hogwash. That's absolute hogwash. That can't be true. Because the clothing years ago was also made in the Far East and in the Indian subcontinent, as well as here in Britain. So the patterns, in theory, haven't changed at all. And okay, people might be slightly bigger, but I haven't actually really changed size that much over 10 years. And I know that for sure. But to find myself trying on a pair of trousers that have exactly the same size label in them as the pair from years ago and they don't fit, well, that's really not very good for the old ego, is it? Or for the self-esteem. So I take this blessed pair of trousers back and change them, only to find I've actually got to buy a pair that are 2 sizes bigger than the pair I had from 10 years ago, because they're the only ones that fit. That is absolutely ridiculous. And it isn't just clothing that's like that anymore, is it? There's also the business of chocolate bars. You know, I remember when a wagon wheel was actually a proper wheel-sized type item. It's now like a damn golf ball. Or is that me imagining it again? My mum the other day said she fancied a bar of twirl, a Cadbury's twirl. And I said, yeah, okay, we can sort that out. I'll get one for you. And when I passed it to her, she went, oh, okay. And I went, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It just seems that there's an awful lot of packet and not a lot of chocolate. Is that just me? Am I imagining that? Or is that actually what's happening nowadays? Come on, folks, stop being, diddling us. If you're in the manufacturing game and you make clothes or you supply food items, chocolate and stuff, make it count. Let's see real sizes, and let's go back to what we were used to. And you're going to say, oh, well, it's because everything's gone up in cost and manufacturing and all this means that we can't have things that were of the size they originally were. No, I'm not convinced. Are you convinced? What a lot of hogwash. Time now for another sound, just to get us away from the business of size, and I think big is beautiful, and I'm going to stick to it.
Will you stay with me? Will you be my love as the days get longer? Will you follow me? Never let me go. Let's keep dreaming, dreaming as the sun goes down. Stars are dancing, dancing as the world turns round.
When it's said and done, I'll keep holding on, even in silence. I can hear your voice through all of the noise. Yeah. Keep dreaming, dreaming till the sun goes down. Yeah.
We'll keep dancing, dancing as the world turns round and round Dreaming till the sun goes down. I will stay with you, I will be your love as the nights get longer. I will follow you, never let you go.
Yeah, I keep dreaming, dreaming till the sun comes out. Yeah.
Stars are dancing, dancing as the world turns round and round and round and round. We'll keep dreaming till the sun goes down.
Keep on dreaming. Oh, keep on dreaming on, keep on dreaming on.
Stars are dancing, dancing as the world turns round and round and round and round.
Hey. Oh, keep on dreaming on.
Let's keep dreaming, dreaming as the sun goes down. Keep on dreaming.
Mystery DJ Marshmello there with Dreaming. It's an interesting concept, isn't it, to do your shows with a paper bag over your head with a couple of crosses for eyes. I'm not entirely sure I'd get away with it, to be honest, because I'm told I've got a fairly distinctive voice and it would need to be a fairly large carrier bag, would it not? But hey ho. Sadly, we are now at the end of the show. Hopefully you've enjoyed the music and of course the chat, and I look forward to being back with you again next week. In the meantime, always happy to hear what you think about what we're doing, so send us emails to shows@jeremyspake.com. Let us know what you think. Let us know what tracks you'd like us to be playing. We're up for dedications, so it's much better when the music is driven by you. The very last sound for today I've chosen from my favourite band of all time, and this particular track was released in 2023 to encourage people to go along and watch their show in Las Vegas. Here's U2 with Atomic City.
Feel we're not alone.
On Air with Jezza is produced by Jeremy Spake Productions Limited. The show is sponsored by Transform, the transport industry consultancy created by experts for experts. You can find out more by visiting www.transformmoc.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you very soon.